Hey, if you missed the opening to this stream, I guess go back and watch it, but shame on you. But look, I'm gonna play the trumpet a little bit here. I'm gonna toot the horn a little bit here. What have I been saying? Always watch the marketing. Always watch the marketing. Cap God proves this right again. Today, dropping the bombshell, an absolute bombshell that I've told you all is coming. I've told you all these games were coming. From the jump, for weeks. I was like, it all started when Capcom started looking a little slippery. I was like, look, you know what? I bet they got another initiative for their IPs coming. I bet they've got another big initiative coming for their IPs. A Devil May Cry 1 remake, maybe some remasters of Mega Man, going back to the well on some old games. And what do they announce today? But Ray. They could just be saying anything. But Ray, every time you all but Ray me, I come back with another rebuttal and we turn it on its head. And then literally weeks later, we get something. So stop but raying me and get on the train. Get on this train. I'm telling you all. They don't call me Ray Stradamus for nothing. They don't call your boy Ray Stradamus for nothing. Shirts are coming. Shirts are coming, by the way. The shirts are coming. Anyway, how y'all doing tonight? Congratulations and welcome to the first ones in the stream tonight. Zach, Last Soldier, Nelson, of course, Coach, the Steelers 4190. I'm going to go ahead and start calling you the Coach because you're going to get an HC gig. You are going to get an HC gig. Mark it. So, yeah, man. Yeah. Devil May Cry 1 remake is coming. I have kind of known a little something was happening with Devil May Cry for a little while. Didn't know exactly what. I thought maybe an HD 2D remaster. Or not HD 2D remaster, but a remaster of the first game. But then I got to thinking they've already done that. So what's the next logical progression from that? A remake. So I am certain Devil May Cry 1 remake not only is in the works, but has been in the works. I am 1000% certain of that now. After Capcom put out what they put out today, and listen, here's the thing. It's Game Awards week. It's the Expedition 33 christening ceremony, congratulatory ceremony week. This does not come out on Monday of Game Awards week. A well-presented PR statement. If Capcom doesn't plan to show us something at the Game Awards. Now, I don't think they're showing us a new game. I don't think they're showing us, I think they're going to make an announcement of an initiative. This is what my marketing senses are tingling, right? Something tells me there's going to be like, you know how Sega's doing that whole remakes initiative of old Sega games? I think Capcom is about to launch like an initiative internally. I don't know what they're going to call it, but I think it's going to be called something. I think it's going to be some kind of like restoration or resurrection of their classic IPs. They've been given all this love to Resident Evil. The Resident Evil remakes have been so much money for this company. So, all you Dino Crisis fans, buckle the fuck up. Buckle the hell up. All you Dino Crisis fans, I'm just saying, it might be time for you to buckle up. Because I think they're going to go deep in the well. They're going to start porting titles. They're going to be remastering titles. They're going to do straight up remakes for titles. I think Devil May Cry 1 gets a remake. I think Mega Man X gets a remake. That's another one. This is another one I want to talk about. I don't know what that music sounded like to you all on your end. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit on my end. This is the DMC, the Devil May Cry 1 soundtrack, not DMC. Forgive me. Forgive me. Forgive me. This is the Devil May Cry 1 soundtrack. Fitting. Felt like it was fitting for tonight. Devil May Cry, the first Devil May Cry, one of my favorite games ever. So fun, so amazing. The first 70% of the game. Discovering Devil May Cry. The discovery period for Devil May Cry, that first 70% of the game, is tops. It's so good. As far as action-adventure games, I put it up there with Assassin's Creed 2. I know, you're going all in on Breath of the Wild. Breath of Fire. I know. Every time we mention Capcom, New York, Atlanta, Chris comes in. But Breath of Fire, we all want Breath of Fire. It'll happen. It'll happen eventually. But it's a niche. It's a niche within a market like Mega Man, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, all that stuff. Those are bigger IPs than Breath of Fire. Even in Japan. Even in Japan. But Breath of Fire is going to happen. Mega Man, I think Mega Man X is getting a remake. I think they're looking at what the Metroidvania stuff is doing, what companies are doing with these new Metroidvanias. I wouldn't be surprised if they outsource Mega Man X to another studio. I think Mega Man X is going to get a remake. I think Devil May Cry is getting a remake. I think Dino Crisis will get a remake. I am on board with this now. I think Dino Crisis is going to get a remake. And we know they're going to remake all the classic Resident Evil titles. No, but what could be the remasters? I think Breath of Fire falls into a remaster category. I think Breath of Fire would be a great remaster. I don't think Dino Crisis would be a remaster. I think they would want to remake that. Because that game is kind of goofy now. Like, that game is a little goofy now. So, but yes, I told y'all, what I tell you, I said Game Awards week is going to start wild. It's going to start wild. We haven't talked about everything yet. Like, we're going to mainly talk about Capcom tonight. That's it. I mean, Square Enix put out some doom and gloom numbers on Final Fantasy and everything. That is what it is. We've talked about that. For all of you who are here on the channel, there's no surprise about those numbers. We've talked about those numbers. We've discussed those numbers. We've discussed what it is. For Kaufmanites here on this channel, what Square Enix said about what came out about Final Fantasy's numbers, not Square Enix said, but what came out about Final Fantasy's numbers, that's not a surprise. That's not a surprise. The Tomb Raider news, I've not talked about it yet. That's back-end news because, honestly, Tomb Raider's back-end right now. Tomb Raider's back-end. I love Tomb Raider 1 and Tomb Raider 2. And then it starts to get sloppy. Tomb Raider will be in a prove it area. Tomb Raider needs to prove it. They got a pass for years. And I haven't really enjoyed a Tomb Raider game since Tomb Raider 2 on PS1, and that's saying a lot, you know. Tomb Raider needs to figure out what it wants to be. What kind of game does it want to be? How do you want to present Lara Croft? She's an amazing character. She's an iconic video game character. Not just because she's hot. She's actually a cool character. But they have to figure out, who is she? Are they doing a remake? Are they doing a new thing? Are they doing whatever? Because that last Tomb Raider movie that came out, I didn't like Lara Croft. I felt like it was like the American writing problem I have with female characters. They're dudes. They write them as dudes with chips on their shoulder. That's how Lara Croft came off to me in that Tomb Raider movie. Now, the Tomb Raider games have been clunky. The Tomb Raider games have been super clunky. That needs to get better. So, was it him? Okay. But yeah, so, that's right. You posted his video in my thing. So, those numbers, I've seen those numbers getting touted around and stuff. Not surprising to anyone who comes to this channel and talks. Like, we've been talking about that. So, It is what it is. Crystal Dynamics retweeted the Tomb Raider account tweet, so I think that is a new game. Yeah, so if it's a new game or a remake, it's got something to prove. We'll get to that, though. We'll get to that. Here's the bigger story. The classic studios have taken a look at everything they're doing. This is exactly what's happening. It is the Claire Obscure effect. It's a real thing. If you're sick of hearing that, go ahead and click away, because you're going to hear more of it. Claire Obscure Expedition 33, we've talked about it. It showed the game industry, hey, the things that made these old games great, they still work. You can call it nostalgia, you can call it whatever you want. A side definition for nostalgia should be definition B. When shit was just good. That is the definition of nostalgia for me. When shit was just good. Everybody's getting on board with when shit was just good now. Capcom is the latest one to get on board. Konami's getting on board. Square Enix about to get on board. A lot of other companies about to get on board. It's happening. Claire Obscure effect. Proved that it can work. Proved that it does work. Proved that's what people in the video game industry fan base want. They want the stuff that was just good. Just make it good. Capcom's like, we're sitting on a ton of stuff that was just good. Why don't we do something with it? This is why I've been saying for weeks, months, that Capcom will remake Devil May Cry. They will go back to Mega Man. They will get back to these classic titles. They just will. Because what's old is new again. Like, there is a generation, and a lot of you I'm talking to right now, part of that generation of gamers that never played the first Devil May Cry, that don't know the exhilaration of beating fucking Quickman's level in Mega Man 2, that don't know all these things, and you never will because you can't go back to those graphics, and you're kind of like, I can't go back and play these old games. I understand that. I understand. Capcom's like, we hear you. We hear you. These games that own these classic IPs, or these companies that own these classic IPs, they're going to be coming out of the woodwork. With HD 2D remasters. All remasters, remakes, ports, everything. That statement Capcom put out today was electric. They said more than they needed to say. They went the extra mile. They could have done something cryptic. They could have done something lighter. They put out a whole PR statement. They went full 400 characters. Like, when you're writing PR statements, especially for social media, you try to keep it around 300 to 400 characters, depending on what kind of platform. When you're writing, that is your box. 300 to 400 characters, max. They went full 400 characters on this thing. They did it up. And I don't count the characters, but I mean, that's just an industry term of saying, hey, look, you put out a full statement. They're cooking. And here's the thing, they wouldn't have put that statement out full bore the way they did if they weren't already working on stuff, if they weren't already actively working on things, which is why I am super stoked. Japanese game industry is about to light it up. And I tell you what, remember I've been talking for a couple of years about this second golden age of the JRPG? Japanese games in general, I think we're heading for that second golden age right now. Keeping it 1,000. I keep it 1,000 when I feel like there's constructive criticism to go around. I keep it 1,000 when I feel like there's praise to go around. These companies, I wouldn't even say they're doing this. This almost feels like a calculated, cohesive effort. I wouldn't be surprised to know that these companies have had meetings with each other. What's the best direction forward? I wouldn't be surprised if Sony pulled all these company heads into meetings individually, maybe in a group chat, who knows. They've all got each other's number. Pulled them in and said, yo, look, we want to pop these old IPs. Moving into PlayStation 6, we want this thing to set the world on fire. We want to get old gamers back. We want to get new gamers playing these old games, experiencing the joy of playing these old games when they were fun, when the gaming industry was in its golden age. You can argue that it's more profitable than it's ever been now, but you can also argue that it's not that profitable anymore. Like ballooning production costs, everything's got to look like a movie that you're playing through, and $100 million, $150 million game for a 10-hour experience. I mean, the shit's getting ridiculous. They're going to scale it back. They're scaling it back, and it's time to get excited. It's time to get excited. Now, what does that mean for the Game Awards this week? I think we see some kind of announcement from Capcom at the Game Awards saying, some kind of revitalization effort or initiative for our classic games. And they could show some screenshots. They could just show shots of the old games. The old games look like, to give you an idea of what's coming. Sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit. New Strider? Oh, dude. Strider? Strider? In the style of Shinobi? There's Bionic Commando or something like that? Come on, dude. Come on. They could go all the way in. All in. I'm here for it. And guess what? Square Enix has been doing this reformatting of what they do in 12 to 18 months. Guess who's going to be making this announcement in 12 to 18 months? You guessed it, Square Enix. This is going to be Square Enix in 12 to 18 months. Like I said on the stream the other night, right now, it feels like Square Enix has put out these 2D HD remakes to hold the line while they get through this reformatting period for their business. Get on the other side of this, we're going to start seeing some big things drop. It's coming, man. Yeah, it's coming. Exactly. It's all business. It's smart business. But here's the other thing too. These developers that have been at these studios for ages, right? They want to make fun games again. These developers start pulling their hair out when it's like, oh, well, the narrative doesn't fit this, and these storyboards and this part, and all these cutscenes that have to be in here, and this this interactive cutscene that you're playing through, and then you got to get back to the regular grind, and this is how level progression works with the character. They don't always want to do that. Can I just make a Metroidvania? Can I just make a sweet platforming action game with RPG elements to it? Can I do that? I mean, can we get back to making just fun games that people can't put down? Sandfall Interactive said, you sure as fuck can. Sandfall Interactive earlier this year said, you sure as fuck can. Here's the blueprint. This is how you do it. Oh, this blueprint looks really familiar. It should. We got it off your desk. It should look super familiar. This is what you were doing 20 years ago. Guess what? People still love this shit. You know why? People still love a well-made game. People still love an excellent gaming experience that you can't put down. It's easy to make, but everybody's always got to be the smartest person in the room. Not anymore. Expedition 33 effect. The Clear Obscure effect. It's alive and well. It's alive and well, and Uncle Ray's here to preach it to you tonight. From the pulpit of marketing. It's just smart business, man. Let the creators make what they want to make, and let the business people get fat and rich. It's coming. The tsunami is washing over the industry. It's happening right now. It's happening right now. There are almost no cons. There are almost no cons. I see your comment there, Chris, and you're right. There are so many pros. And there are almost no cons to doing this. Because what you do is, you want new games? Okay. Refamiliarize yourself with Devil May Cry. Refamiliarize yourself or introduce yourself to Dino Crisis. Refamiliarize yourself or introduce yourself to Bionic Commando, to Strider, to all these classic Capcom titles. There are other ones that I'm not even mentioning right now. And then, who knows? A few years later, oh, there's a new one in development. Oh, we got some new stuff in development. You think if MGS1 Remake does well for Konami, there's not going to be a new MGS game coming? We've already seen it with Silent Hill. Silent Hill F. Excellent. Excellent video game. Excellent. Silent Hill 2 Remake paved the way. Let's put Silent Hill F out. It was in development at the same time. But still, proven IPs that still make... Just because something is a proven IP and there's a business term behind it doesn't mean it's not good. It sold a lot, probably because it's good. Probably because a lot of people liked it. Just saying. There's a lot of people out there arguing, oh, it gets the machine behind it, you know. Well, no. We have seen people will boycott things they don't like. Things they dislike. You put out something good, people will buy it. Companies don't want pats on the back, they want sales. The only way a business can succeed, a project can succeed, is with money and through sales. That is it. Full stop. Retweets, likes, shares, praise, comments, all that kind of stuff. For these companies and for anybody doing a project, that's great. Doesn't get the next piece of the project made though. Only money does that. And they're showing now that's what they want. And they're doing it the right way. People have been saying for a few years now, people are speaking with their wallets. They're speaking with their wallets. Forspoken sucked. Final Fantasy 16 wasn't great. I could throw other titles out there. Games that have bankrupted companies because for whatever reason it wasn't as good as it could have been or whatever. Like those last few Tomb Raider games. That Avengers game. Look at how much money Square spent on that Avengers game. It wasn't any good. You know what the red flag was for me for the Avengers game? It's like they did this big roundtable discussion with the voice actors who are playing the new Avengers. And they would not show gameplay. They would not show in-depth play cycles for this game. It was just people talking about how much it meant to them. And I was like, that's great as like a tertiary piece. Not your main focus. So companies are about to get... Oh, they want the games. They want the games. Let's give them the games. We're about to get the games. We're about to get the games. Yep. About to get the games. Well, you make a remake. It's like, it's just expensive as a new game. You're still making a new game. Like, let's say you remake Devil May Cry 1, for example. That's the big hot topic right now. That's what I'm talking about a lot. You can't just put it over the bones of the old game. You've got to completely remake that game. It's still going to have a budget. But here's the thing, with the photorealism stuff and everything, like, that doesn't make a fun game. How many games that they've put so much time and effort into making it look beautiful and everything have been met with greater than, like, a wishy-washy response? Some people liked it, some people hated it. But at the end of the day, it was there. They finished it in 3 days and they moved on with their life. The game took 6 years to develop and $100 million. How many times have we heard that over the last 3 years? Companies are sick of burning their money in piles. They are. I mean, they were chasing the wrong dragon. Now they're going to get back on the good foot. Shadow drops? Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think we're going to have like at least 3. I'm calling at least 3 shadow drops Thursday night. Maybe before. Like, there might be one or two before the show. I think Thursday, all day, is just going to be shit coming out. I think there's going to be stuff coming out. What up, Jean Paul? Welcome to the chat with the rest of us lunatics out here. When people or companies say sales, they want impossible numbers. Take, for example, the first Final Fantasy remake sold more than 6 million square. Yeah, exactly. We've talked about this a lot on the channel here, John Paul. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, follow us up. I talk a lot about marketing and stuff like that here. Square Enix is just now coming to terms with the fact that they are a niche company making niche products. They're never going to do Grand Theft Auto numbers. Hell, they're never even going to do like Battlefield or numbers or anything like that. That's not what Square Enix is. That's not what Final Fantasy is. That's not what Dragon Quest is. And nor should it be. It shouldn't be made for the masses who just want to come home after work, play a few rounds with some buddies, crack open a drink after a long day of work, be in for an hour and then get out and then watch the game. Watch some basketball game or something. That's not who Square Enix makes games for. It's just not. And any marketing person there that's telling them otherwise should be fired because they are driving them down the wrong path. They should be ecstatic that game sold 6 million copies or whatever it was when it launched. It sold over time, and Rebirth is still kind of slowly selling over time. But that's why they have to put so much work into getting these ports of these games out so fast, because they're trying to make that impossible bar they set for themselves. When if anybody with any marketing sense of that company had gotten their ear and told them, look, if we launch at 3 million and then we do 18-month residual sales at hitting 5 million, then we're good. Then we're in the black. Fine. You know what I mean? But that's not what they're always chasing. They're always chasing these impossible numbers. Inflated costs for everything are driving these companies to AI. They're driving these companies. They're going to go one of two ways. And this is the truth of the matter. You're going to get a lot of AI, or you're going to get companies making products for cheaper. It's one of the two, because the model for the industry is unsustainable. I did a video, or maybe it was a live stream about a year ago. No, it's a couple years ago, talking about how the gaming industry bubble was about to pop. I talked to my buddy Nine about it. Nine, if you all know his YouTube channel. I texted with him. I was like, look, man, gaming industry bubble, it's about to pop. And this is about 6 months before we start hearing about all these layoffs and everything else. Companies don't want to lay off developers, but they're laying off thousands of people. People are losing their jobs left and right, because I liken it to when I went to college in 2003 for graphic design, right? Went in, graphic design was everything. You're gonna have billboards on Times Square. You're gonna have a job with a big firm in New York. You're gonna go out to LA or Sacramento, get a big gig out there, maybe even Chicago, Atlanta. You're going to go somewhere. There's going to be jobs waiting for you. You go into college. You're almost done. You come out. The market is completely saturated. No one's hiring. Design firms are shutting down. The whole deal. And then it became a situation where over time, Fiverr came out and all these other things. If you were in graphic design, you were making pennies on the dollar of what you thought you were going to make. And now it's happening for game designers. Now it's happening for game design, because what happened with graphic design is people figured out, I can teach myself how to do this, do it at home, and do it for myself, and not have to pay anybody to do it. Well, now you got people doing that for their own video games, homebrew video games. I'm doing it for animation right now. I'm doing all my own animation. I've got another guy who used to do some work for Square Enix who's helping me. We're going to do the game. We're doing all this kind of stuff, but people are doing this stuff in-house and making things and putting them on Steam. And these big companies are like, if we're going to survive, if we're going to sustain this tidal wave that's coming to us, we got to downscale. We got to downscale right the fuck now. We're going to be shuttering our company. You know, Square Enix can only survive on body pillows and plushies for so long. You know, they understand that they are going to have to make quality games that people want to play, and they can't keep paying what they're paying to make them. Same thing with all these other companies, unless your game's called Grand Theft Auto. That's it. That's it. And these companies are starting to understand that. So just like when I got out of college and you had to, it was like fucking Road Warrior Mad Max in the graphic design industry and the web design industry. All of a sudden there were all these McDonald's everywhere, like drive-through web design, drive-through graphic design, like, you know, Fiverr and all these other companies that were just like, hey, $50 logo for your company. Hey, $100 website right here. Step right up. And you're like, oh shit, I was supposed to make $50,000 a year doing this. Now I can't even pay my bills. That's happening now in the game industry. Full stop. Period. That's what's happening. And it happened almost overnight. I'll tell you when it happened. COVID. Everybody was told to stay home for 9 months. If you didn't have a job, like I was doing live conventions and bartending. Those are my 2 jobs. On May 15th, I lost bartending, and on May 16th, all the conventions got canceled. I lost the other 50% of my revenue. We all got paid to stay home, and what do people say? It's like, I'm gonna figure out how to do that thing I always wanted to do, and I'm gonna teach myself how to do it. I'm gonna go to the University of YouTube. I'm gonna learn game design. I'm gonna go to the University of YouTube and get into these different forums and talk to other people like me. I'm gonna learn animation. I'm gonna learn screenwriting. I'm gonna learn this. I'm gonna learn that. I'm gonna learn how to make that film I always wanted to make. You spend a couple of months learning, you spend 6 months doing, and boom, you're that. Boom, you're an animator. Boom, you're a game designer. Boom, you're a writer. Boom, you're a filmmaker. Because here's the thing, to be those things, all you have to do is those things. Like if you make a game, I don't care what type, if you make Pong, guess what? You're a game designer. You've got your brain into that. You've learned how to dig around, you've learned how to learn that. Once that starts, it's over. Like, trust me, my thirst for being an animator and a filmmaker and stuff in the past 5 years, once my brain was in there, forget about it. Like, learning how to be a boss has been the hardest part. Learning how to do the other things, these people, if they want to do it, they will learn how to do it. The hardest part is learning how to be a business person in that industry. That's why you're seeing administrative stuff take off. That's why you're seeing AI for administrative stuff take off for people. Artists aren't using AI to make art, like real artists aren't. What they are doing is they're using AI to help them with admin side stuff. Hey, answer my emails. Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? How can I learn this? Show me a place where I can learn these things. Okay. Thank you for the information. That's what these people learning game design are doing. And these companies have figured it out. Because people that are making their own games, they're not making Grand Theft Auto. They're not making Forspoken. They're not even making Devil May Cry 5 or anything. They're making shit like Shovel Knight or Hollow Knight. They're making they're making 2D HD stuff. They're making Chronicles of the Wolf. They're making all these classic games. They're not making this crazy shit. 2 dudes made Chronicles of the Wolf. I played that game for 2 months. These AAA games come out 5 years, $100 million, $200 million budgets. I'm done with them in 3 days. I'm preaching to you right now. This is exactly why you're going to start seeing more of this, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing because it's going to pump blood back into the industry. I am more convinced now that we're going to see a new Castlevania from Konami very soon. Because Castlevania is an IP you can make what's old new again. You can make a Metroidvania and you look at a Metroidvania, you go, oh, that's Castlevania. It's got Vania in it. It defined the genre. All these games that are coming out that are this genre now, Konami's sitting on the game that helped make the genre. I would say Metroid was the progenitor of the whole thing. But Castlevania came sliding in right behind it. That's why it's called Metroidvania. Bloodstained. That was a Kickstarter thing. Again, that's a great point, John, because like I remember when EGA launched that campaign. What was it, back in 2014? He launched that Kickstarter for Bloodstained. 2013, 2014, if I remember. One of the things he said in his Kickstarter launch video, he said, everybody at my company told me people don't want to play games like this anymore. And he throws the glass of wine. He said, ha, just like Dracula does in Symphony of the Night. It's like, eh. It's one of the greatest Kickstarter videos ever made. He knew. EGA knew. He knew. Back then, he was like, game industry's going in a bad way. I'm going to make my own stuff. I'm going to make fun games. That's what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. You all do your thing. I'm going to go do my thing. He knew. Trailblazer. Like, and now it's like the industry's coming back around to those sensibilities. So, yeah. Modern day money laundering. That's a good way to put it. That's actually a really good way to put it. See, Zach, that's exactly what I'm talking about. See, and when all those layoffs were happening, I don't know if you were around here on the channel at the time, Zach. At least if you were, I don't think I remember seeing you being like a regular participant in the chat. But when that was happening, I think I put out a tweet, and I also said, I was like, a phoenix will rise from the ashes from all these layoffs. Like, it's unfortunate, and I hate that all these people are losing their jobs, but the cream will rise to the top. The cream will rise to the top, brother. Like, to steal one from Macho Man, right? The cream will always rise to the top. Some of these people who know they're brilliant, who know they can do good work, who know they're good at what they do, who know that is why they're on this planet, to do this job, to tell stories in this medium, they're going to get together with other people like them and be like, let's start our own fucking company. Let's make our own fucking games. And that's what happened. That's what your buddy's doing right now. That's what your guy's doing. Your guy or your girl, I don't know, boy or girl, whatever, but that's what your friend is doing. The cream rises to the top. And here's the thing, whether a project, an indie project, is good or bad or indifferent, the fact that you are making a thing once thought to only be capable by other companies, big companies with lots of money, the fact that you can do that now in your basement with no money, after you get off work every night, 3 to 5 hours a night, putting in time, grinding, do anything you want now. That is changing the world. That is changing these companies. That's making them click their time machines back to 1995. They're going to go back and start making these great games again. You have done this. The people making their own games. You, the independent creators. You, the fans who have said, hey, these games, they're not what they used to be. The industry doesn't have the soul it used to be. What's going on with these companies? They don't seem to know what they're doing. You made this possible. You can change things. And it's happening right now. It's happening right now. Companies like Sandfall Interactive and companies like Joe Bill in his basement in Arkansas, who's the only kid in his town that likes video games out of a town of 1,800 people. Well, all the boys play football. And you know the story. That one misfit in this little town in the middle of nowhere in his basement making a fucking video game because you can do that now. What a time to be alive, baby. What a time to be alive. That's what I'm saying right now. This is the time. People are like, oh man, it's a shit world we live in. No, man, this is the time to be alive. You can do anything you want. Anything you want to do, you can do it. Period. That's why I got out of the marketing thing, because I wanted to be an animator. I wanted to be a storyteller. I wanted to make comics. I wanted to make animation. I want to have a crack at making my own video games someday. I don't want to just be a fan. I want to be the man. And so should you. Or the woman. Don't just be a fan, be the man. Don't just be a fan, be the woman. Be the whatever you want to be, however you identify. But do your thing. And now we live in a time where it's possible. And these other companies know it. So Capcom puts out a statement today and says, yo, we're going to go back to our classic initiatives, games that you all loved, and we've got all these IPs that we really want to revive and breathe life into, and, you know, we love the fans so much. We love the old school fans so much. We're sorry we went away for so long. Hey, we still love you. We still love you out there. We're so sorry. We're going to revive these IPs with remakes, remasters, and ports. Because we're thinking about you. We're always about you. We just want to give you better. But really, at the boardroom meeting, you got dudes jumping out of windows head first, just like, oh, fuck, man. These fans are making games better than what we're making. What the fuck are we going to do? We haven't shown anything for Resident Evil 9, and people are calling us out on it. What the fuck are we going to do? That's what's really going on. So, good job. Good job to all of you for pushing these companies to try and be better. To push these companies to do what they're supposed to be doing. And you keep making the things you're making, because that shit's going to change the world. Do it. Do that. I'm looking for any cool review there, John, or reveal there. Yeah, I'll be watching it live. We're going to go live about an hour before the show starts. And we're going to have a hype session. Not hyping the show itself, but just hyping the game industry in general. Because now, like, I've come on here for so many... I'm going to be honest with you. There's been some nights where I come on here, and I'm kind of disappointed in the state of the industry, to the point where I don't even want to play anything. But I come on, dead tired, knowing I got hours of work waiting on me for the animation, for the show I'm building. Knowing the later I go, the later I'm going to be up, and that's fine, because I love hanging out with you all. But a lot of nights when I come on here, it's because I want to hang out with you all. It's not because I'm excited to talk about anything. Tonight, I'm actually excited to talk about the gaming industry. Period. And look, I'm a guy, I can't bullshit and I can't lie. Like, if I'm not into something, you all can see it. You can smell it a mile away. Like, I am Ray's not himself tonight, you know, chatting in the Discord, chatting in private message. Oh, Ray himself tonight. Well, yeah, because Ray's disappointed with the industry. I'm disappointed with decisions being made. I'm disappointed that we're disappointed all the time. Not tonight. Not tonight. And here's the other thing. Like, I put that video out a little while ago about, I don't know, a month or two ago, about how Jeff Keighley and them are kind of like monopolizing gaming hype, or monetizing the hype, right? It wasn't meant to be a hit piece. A lot of people took it the wrong way. I was just like, it was just me noticing as a marketing person what's happening. I think I called it brilliant in the video. But again, it's one of those situations where it's like, tell me you didn't watch the video without telling me you didn't watch the video. People that were commenting, oh, I think it's fine that they're doing that. Oh man, why are you hating on that? I'm not hating on it. You didn't watch the video. So, watch the video before you comment. Else we look stupid, right? Else you look stupid. But no, I thought it was really cool that they were giving a voice to a lot of things. And one of the things I said is, like, always watch what they champion at these shows. Always watch what Jeff Keighley and his people champion at these shows. At Summer Games Fest, what did I say about a month before, about 2 weeks before the show? I said, we're going to have a really good idea of where Keighley and advertisers and stuff want the industry to go based on what they showcase at the show. If it was an independent production, which most of them were, they told you how many people were on the staff, where they were from, and all these details that you would want to know. Details that a quick, like, analytics search of different Google terms and stuff like that will tell you that people searched about for Claire Obscure's dev team, Sandfall Interactive. These aren't mysteries, people. You can Google search what analytics people look at for these small companies, especially when Sandfall Interactive was a household name back in February and March. People were Google searching these details on them, and those details people were Google searching are the same details that Jeff Keighley was highlighting about these other independent companies. He was spitting them out verbatim. Oh, this team of so-and-so people from this place are working on this thing for this long, and We want to give them a voice and a platform to show their things. He was saying these things. This is marketing, and it's brilliant marketing. And the fact that they went so hard on independent stuff this summer, and they've on their social media and on everything Game Awards related, they've been going hard on all this independent stuff. These companies now, this is the next part of what I predicted was going to happen. This is the other part of we're going to see where the game industry is going. Because the hard push for indies and putting them out there has made these AAA companies, these god tier up on Olympus looking down at all of us companies. The Twilight Vampire meme where everybody's like looking down off the balcony. That was Konami, Capcom, Square Enix, all these other companies. The heads of these companies, not the artists, not the creators, not the people who actually make the thing you put in your hand to play, but the people making business decisions. That's them. It made them all take a look. It made them all course correct. It made them all go, oh, fuck, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do? Oh, my God. The sky is falling. I guess we'll just do that. That's what people want, right? God, we don't want to do that, but I guess that's what we'll do. Shit, we don't want to do that, but we'll do that. And all the game developers that work for them are like, thank you. We've been asking you to do this for years. Yuji Horii all of a sudden is excited about Chrono Trigger shit that we don't know anything about yet. But you think that remake's not coming? You bet your ass it's coming now. You bet your ass it's coming now. You think Square Enix isn't looking at all of their titles from the Super Nintendo era up to the end of the PS1 era and thinking about remaking, porting, or remastering? You think after Capcom made this announcement, Square Enix isn't like, okay, we're going to port all of our shit? You're insane. You're insane if you think that's not happening right now. Square Enix has been pilfering Capcom employees for a few years now. You think that shit's not happening? It's absolutely happening. Absolutely happening. And we have Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards crew to thank for it. We do, because it gave a voice to these people who had the ability to change the industry. These people that during COVID said, fuck it, I'm going to make my own thing. I'm going to do my own shit. And in a few years, I'm going to be broke here and there. I'm not going to be able to feed myself for a little while. Might have a hard time paying my bills for a little while, but in a few years, I'm going to be showcasing the project I've been working on, and the world's going to get to see it. Little did they know they were going to have a hand in changing the direction of the industry. And if it weren't for Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards giving them that voice, it wouldn't have been expedited to such a rate. It probably still would have happened, because word of mouth spreads. Social media is powerful in that way. It still has a place, right? Social media sucks 90% of the time, but 10% of it still has a purpose. Outside of echo chambers and people just yelling at each other that just agree with each other on things, and silencing people they disagree with, which is not how you should use social media, period. But humans are as humans are. Little did these people know they were going to have a hand in changing the industry years later. And if it weren't for the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley and the effort he's spearheading, this would not be possible. This would not be possible if they weren't monetizing the hype. Because it goes back to the point I made earlier. We do that. You have to make money to continue to grow a company. Jeff Keighley, Game Awards Inc., they're entering into contracts with these companies, which is serving both parties. I don't know who's paying who or what's being made. I'm sure it goes both ways. But to sustain a company like what he wants to do with the Game Awards, it has to generate revenue. Contracts, advertising, big deals with streamers like Amazon Prime. All to give a voice to these people who want to make their games. At the end of the day, however you make your money to build your thing, the thing he's wanting to build, whether you say he's wanting to control gaming industry's narratives or whatever, I don't care about that right now. I've heard people try to tell me that nonsense. Whatever, I don't believe that. But whatever the ends, he is giving a voice to people who wouldn't have had a voice to show off their thing. He's giving a platform and a stage to people for people to show off a project, otherwise they would have never gotten to show off. And putting money in those people's pockets. From Steam sales, from deals with big publishers, from all this other stuff. Bravo. Bravo. What better way to kick off Game Awards week than to recognize that? So, the shift is coming. The paradigm shift is coming. The recent marketing of Part 3, there is no marketing right now. I've seen what's going around. I've seen the fake box art and stuff like that going around, but it's not worth my time to talk about because this is not real. Like, I think Hamaguchi put that quote out there because he's wanting to prime people for an announcement soon. Announcement's coming soon. The announcement is coming soon. I like all these people that think the game's going to be called Reclaim because it was said a lot in the game. How many times was Rebirth said in Remake? These people have like the attention spans of a mouse, which sounds good. Sounds good. A couple popular streamers said it. I guess I'll start parroting it and retweeting it around. I think that's it right there. That's it. That's it right there. We decoded the message, guys. Good job. Good job, everybody. Slap hands. Slap hands. Everybody slap hands. Nah, man. It might be Reclaim, but not for those reasons. I think Reclaim is a stupid name for the final chapter of your story. It's like of a pantheon. If you put together a pantheon of worst possible names, least marketable names for a game, Reclaim is like, doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. Final Fantasy VII Reclaim. Good luck selling that shit. Good luck selling that and putting that on posters and putting that in commercials and everything else. Well, it was said a lot, so that's my guess and my favorite streamer's guess, so I'm going with it. Now, a lot of you all say Reclaim. I'm not piling on you. I'm not trying to make you feel bad or anything like that. I've always been against that name just because it doesn't really roll off the tongue. It's a whole different vowel structure. Final Fantasy VII Reclaim. You got to put the k in there. Whereas Redemption rolls off the tongue. Final Fantasy VII Redemption. Final Fantasy VII Reclaim. No. Nah. Anyway, I'm not going to get on that too much. But, yeah, now all the marketing news out there right now is hearsay based on a line of dialogue. Not really worth our time to talk about, but I do think it harkens to announcement coming soon. I still feel like we are getting a title reveal at the Game Awards. Game Awards loves doing this shit, people, and the people that work with the Game Awards love to do this shit. Look no further than Capcom being at Summer Games Fest and being like, well, for Resident Evil 9 news, you're not going to have to wait too much longer, but just be a little more patient. Just a little more patient. Yeah, we know how that worked out, right? Did y'all forget about that? I did. Everybody on social media just forget that happened, you know? I love it because it keeps us guessing. Now, does that mean there's definitely going to be something there? No. But it's a surprise. It keeps us guessing. It reinvents the surprise and the allure of what makes the gaming industry great. It's the hype. It's the surprises. And again, I did a video on this recently as well that got like 300 views or some bullshit. Wasn't even worth my time to shoot. But like, the gaming industry is like 75-80% hype, because that other 20% is when you actually get the game in your hand. Compared to the 5 years you spent, or the 3 to 5 years you spent waiting for a game, the weekend to 2 weeks you spend actually playing it pale in comparison. You know? So a lot of the gaming industry is hype. You're selling hype. And it's fun. It's fun. That's part of the gaming industry, is the fun of it. They're having fun with this stuff. And you can see, like, when the game industry people, or the Game Awards people, they're pulling people, these other developers in. It's like, hey man, we got this gag we're gonna do about the game. Hey, we wanna have some fun with this. We wanna have some fun with this announcement. Dude, they are all in on that shit. Like they were like, yes, somebody gets it. Yes, I want to have fun with this. Let's do it. Like even the goriest, like horror laden game you can imagine, the people making those games are like goofy as hell and just like wanting to have fun, and maybe they got a dark sense of humor, but they're still wanting to have fun. They're good people just wanting to joke around and bullshit. Like the Game Awards gives them a playground, a sandbox to do this stuff. And I think that's infectious. I think that's very infectious. And I think we're finally, this year, one of the predictions I have for the Game Awards is they're going to have this format locked down. I think this is going to be the best running show they've ever done. I think the format is going to be slick. And I think they're going to have the things they do. I feel like they're not going to overstay their welcome. And I feel like they're going to be fun, boom, in and out. If they pull this show off this year, and I'm not even saying everything I want to be there is going to be there. I'm not even saying that. If they pull this show off, and it is not just competent, but it is fun, it's a Game Awards show. This show needs to be fun. It doesn't need to be the Oscars. It doesn't, sure as fuck going to be the Grammys, and nobody even watches the Grammys anymore. I don't even know if that's still on. Doesn't need to be any of these hoity-toity, highfalutin kind of awards shows. It needs to be fun. It needs to reflect your industry. I need someone going to the stage with a fucking Slayer shirt and a bow tie on. That's what I need, man. That's what I need. I need Sandfall Interactive to go up and accept the award for Video Game of the Year with somebody wearing a Final Fantasy shirt, somebody wearing a Devil May Cry shirt, somebody wearing a Resident Evil shirt, and somebody wearing like a Pantera shirt or some shit. It needs to be fun. This shit needs to be fun. Oh, and somebody wearing a Berserk shirt. Berserk. That's what I'm talking about. That's what this show needs to be, and I think we're gonna get it. Not the shirts, not the t-shirts, but extra points if there are band shirts on the stage. But it's going to be fun. And if they nail the format for the show, we made it. If they nail the format for the show this year, we've made it. If they nail the format for the show this year, I'm going to go to the show next year. I'm going to get tickets and go to the show next year. Bet. I'll live stream from the show. Good luck with that, right? I'm sure it would be impossible with whatever basic phone package I have to live stream from a show like that in the middle of California. But yeah. Dark Zanzel, one of our favorite guys. Hey baby boy, how you doing? Everybody say hi to Dark Zanzel. I got it running up there because I just want something running up there. That's why. To answer your deep probing question, Dark Zanzel. Dark Zanzel. I know you, baby. But no, it's just because I need something there. Orly, what's up, Orly? How we doing? Hey, we got some old heads coming in the chat. Everybody wave and say hi to the old heads. How we doing? That interview was in October, by the way. They definitely have the name. But I figured that was like an old interview or an old line from an interview. I didn't think it was going to be anything like that just came out, like they just said yesterday. Now they've got all that lined out. We're going to see this game at the Game Awards. We're going to see the announcement for this game at the Game Awards. It's happening. It's happening, baby. Right, I posted on your Discord that I Feel Square does a long trailer for FF7 where they remind people of FF7 remake in January for Nintendo, Rebirth by autumn, and and part of yeah, I could see them doing it that way. Yeah, that makes sense. And they don't even say they're going to get a trailer. But here's the thing: if it's the last, they have to show it as a world premiere. Or maybe you could do the announcement for the ports, and then after that you announce world premiere. Like, you don't even come back to the show. You just go world premiere, and then everybody's going to kind of know what that is. You know, I do it that way. I'm just saying. Theorizing on what's to come is one of the funnest parts of being involved in it. Yeah, absolutely. Faux show. Oh, they gotta put the "for those who come after" in there, because like that's kind of like one of the meta meanings behind the game, right? That's kind of one of the core values of the game is like their developers kind of talking to other people wanting to do their own thing. So I always took that "for those who come after" line as, hey, we're doing this to show you that you can do this. You know, that's how I took it. I thought that was brilliant. And you're right. They should absolutely put that in there, Chris. Well, at next year's Video Game Awards, I think it's going to be, if the game's going to come out in like February to April 2027, in that window, we're already going to have the release date at that point. Might just be a situation of showing like a final, like a music piece trailer. And everybody loved that piece of music from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I thought it was very generic. I felt like that song, the Aerith song where she's singing, the song itself felt very underwhelming. And people were like, what, you didn't like? I didn't say I didn't like it. So it was very underwhelming, because I know what the people involved with that song can do. I know what they can do. And it felt like a pop song from 1982. Kind of had the same music notes and beats. Like, felt like something you would have heard on the radio, like when I was like 2 years old. You know, it kind of, I don't know, man. I don't know. I was like, I'm not feeling this. I need them to go full Nightwish with Part 3's theme song. I need full Nightwish. I need Nobuo Uematsu, Otherworld, with a full orchestra and vocal. I need like the whole shit hitting the fan production. That's what I need. Oh no, we'll talk about it all. The thing I wanted to talk about with Capcom was the floodgates are about to open on people being like, you know what? We're gonna start making good games again. Enough of this shit. Because Forspoken and all this shit, get this out of here. We're gonna start making good games again, everybody. That was the point with Capcom. And the fact that Jeff Keighley has really spearheaded this whole movement, like a change in the industry. Like, look, here's the deal. If the Game Awards goes off well, then that bodes well for Summer Games Fest. And we could be one step closer to having that golden age of what E3 was back in the day. It could happen. It could happen soon. It could happen very soon. And I think that is really exciting. Because the video game industry misses E3. The Game Awards wants to be that. And I think it could. Because E3 got out of hand because it wasn't really like a controlled entity, right? It was kind of floundering for years. It was just coasting because it was so popular. It was so big, and it was just coasting. And then when people started figuring out their own internal marketing, and social media had a big part in this too, learning marketing, social media, going A to B, directly from you to your customer, and not needing like a showcase or something like that to do that, well, then all bets were off, you know. But what Jeff Keighley and them were trying to do is like, hey, you know, we're all about taking you, giving you to the fans. You can already do that. You can do that now. But we can put some pomp and circumstance behind things, and we could put you in front of people that you may not be thinking about. We could put you in front of a worldwide audience, like our awards shows, like our big summer feature and everything. And we could put you front stage center and give you that 30 to 90 seconds to just be up there, your developers, your product, worldwide audience, these trackable metrics we have on how many people watch our stuff. You could be that. They're taking that and they're retooling what E3 could have been. But it all hinges on what this show comes off like this Thursday. Do I know what the future holds? Ray Stradamus cannot tell you what the future holds. Even though I got the sweet beard for it, right? Got the sweet Ray Stradamus beard going on, but I can tell you Jeff Keighley's going to have a hand in it. Win, lose, or draw. I think he's doing great. I think he's a great ambassador for gaming. I've said it before. Sometimes he gets a little heavy-handed with things sometimes, but not everybody's going to be perfect 100% of the time. Like Hideo Kojima, Kojima gets like a buddy pass. He gets to be at all the shows and stuff. But what I liked about the Summer Games Fest was he got him out of the way quick. He's like, okay, Kojima's going to be here. He's my guy. We're going to bring him up first, within the first 10 minutes. We're going to have him out of here in 5 minutes. We're going to get on with the show. Get that out of the way. Like, he gave his buddy his time, and he was curtain jerking, and bring on the rest of the show. That, for me, was a moment where it was like in the right direction. So I found that very promising, and I will still say that he is a great ambassador for the Game Awards, or for gaming in general. I will be interested. Here's what I'm interested in. What kind of special moments are we going to get this year? I will never forget the Game Awards. I want to say it was like, was it 2022? No, it wasn't even then. It was like 2019, I think, when he had Reggie Fils-Aimé, Phil Spencer, and Sean Levy on stage together at the same time, and they didn't seem like they hated each other. They seemed like they were chummy with each other up there. I was like, what a fucking great moment, man. This is what this show should be. The gaming industry just coming together is like, you know what? We get to make fucking video games for a living, man. Let's go. How cool is this shit? We get paid to make video games. Let's come up here and have a fucking great time. I'm gonna come on stage half lit, a couple shots of tequila in me. Then afterward, Reggie Fils-Aimé, Sean Levy, and Phil Spencer are going backstage and have a smoke. It's the Game Awards. It's the Game Awards. Hey, I don't know. Just the fact that there could be that kind of camaraderie there. I need no Muppets at this show. You're absolutely right, Chris. I need no Muppets at this show. We will have Muppets. And Jeff Keighley is genuine. Yeah, exactly. That's my point, Zach. He is genuine. This dude loves the industry. Ever since his G4 days, people forget. He was a G4 dude that has made it. I would love for him to have like some of the old G4 personalities come on stage and present like an award or something like that. How cool would that be, man? Because they're still all in California. Like, all of them. Like, I don't know, Olivia Munn, she just got through a battle with breast cancer. I think she's got some kids now or something like that. She's married to that comedian. I forget his name. It's one of the comedians out there. She might not be in California anymore. I would say she probably is, though. Adam Sessler, that guy went nuts a couple years ago or something. Or no, he just had enough. I think he had enough social media. I don't know what he's doing now. What was the other one? Kevin Pereira and Morgan Webb. She was on X-Play. It would be cool to have these people on stage to do like an award. That would be fucking cool, man. That would be fucking cool. For me. Mulaney? Oh, the Ghost of Tsushima musical performance was incredible. That was incredible. I think he could hold it together to go on stage and do an award. I would like to think he could anyway. But yeah, so just you know, you can't talk about the golden age of gaming without talking about those people from G4 and stuff, because that was a big part of it, you know. And the fact that Jeff Keighley kind of came out of that era and he's doing what he's doing now, man, that's impressive. That's impressive. Because he was like a field reporter for X-Play or for, well, maybe just G4 in general. He's like a field reporter. He would be at E3 on the show floor talking. I think he worked with other companies or something like that, but he was just like a presser guy. You know what I mean? And now he's like this marketing juggernaut, you know, which is, dude, that's so fucking impressive, man. That's so impressive. That guy will never know me. That guy will never. Actually, he has responded to a tweet once, but you know, he'll never know that. He'll never. And my words mean nothing. But as a marketing guy, I am so proud of that guy, what he's done, how far he's come. Because I have a little bit of knowledge about his background, his education, and stuff like that, and super impressive what that guy's been able to pull off. I'm really proud of that guy. As a fellow marketing person, I am super proud of that guy. I think he is just the bee's knees, baby. He's just that dude. And I love what he's doing, what he's attempting with the Game Awards, and I want to see it succeed. I want this show to be... That's not going to go off without a hitch. It's live without a net, right? So it's... there's going to be some hiccups. There's going to be some awkward moments. There's going to be some things that don't work. But all in all, that's why I just say, if they just nail the pacing, that's a huge win, and that's something to be excited about. Shadow Star, what's up, Shadow Star? Never Muppets again. We will never Muppet again. John Mulaney, thank you. Somebody said Mulaney up there, but I was like, oh, John Mulaney, that's right. Yeah, I had to hate her for a while, Olivia Munn. Like, she was dating Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm a Bears fan. I'm like, oh, how could you do that? How could you do that, Psylocke? But yeah, like, I'll still, like, sometimes I'm in the lab, I'm working, animation, syncing up some audio or whatever. I'll still throw on old X-Play and Attack of the Show reruns on YouTube and just let it play while I'm sitting here working on stuff. That's always a good time. It's always a good time. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right. I'm going to refresh the beverage. A couple more cubes of ice. A little shot of something. And I'll be right back. There we go. All right. Oh, what were you all saying while I stepped away? Let's see. The VGA should bring back Frosk. What's Frosk? This is kind of like... What's that on my arm? Anyway. I don't know what Frosk is. I don't know if is that a thing or a person or... That's going to bug me now. What are the odds Bloodborne gets a PS5 edition? All we want is just improved textures and 60 to 120 frames per second frame rate. Nobody's asking for a full-on remake. I don't know. I'll say... I'll go 6 out of 10 on a Bloodborne anything being there. Silent Hill 1 remake? Now that is an interesting possibility. One that I have floated that could be a surprise at the Game Awards. I floated that out as a distant, outside looking in kind of dark horse surprise. It would be awesome instead of the mascots, they got good cosplayers to just show up and do poses. That'd be kind of cool. Like professional level cosplayers, yeah. And for the people there to get photos with them, that would be cool. That would be cool. I've seen other people say that the statue could be Altered Beast 2, Ray. Kind of interesting. Yeah. Yep. It makes sense. I'm just saying, it makes a lot of sense. Welcome back. Welcome back to you, Orly. Welcome back to you, my friend. I'm glad you're here tonight. Frost was from the new G4. Oh my god, the new G4? I forgot that was a thing. I literally forgot new G4 was real. I forgot that. Wow, that's so insane. I'll be honest, I only watched it a couple of times. The soul just wasn't there. The soul just wasn't there. I did see there was some stuff. Was that the girl that had the severe crash out? Like she became a meme or whatever? Like she had that crash out some years ago. That's all I remember from the new G4. I don't remember any game they covered. I don't remember any fun bit that they did. Anything like that. I just remember that girl crashing out. Her rumors is Dante's Inferno. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been saying that because of the Greek vibes to it and the very hell, Hades kind of tone of it. But look, I'll say this. You all have heard me talk about this on the channel. Dante's Inferno PS3 was a fucking killer game. If they were to remake Dante's Inferno or something... Because people that weren't there for it don't remember. That was a massive release. That was a killer release when that game came out. That game was a big deal when it came out. It was a big deal when it came out. Everybody I knew was playing that game when it came out. But yes, so if it were Dante's Inferno, I would not be mad. I would not be mad. I think I kind of playfully threw that out there the other night. I was like, oh, it's Dante's Inferno. Yeah, Frost on the okay, so that was her. Okay, all right. Yeah, so I don't know. New G4 didn't have the vibes, man. It did not have the energy. Didn't have the legs. Didn't have the energy. Didn't have the vibes. Didn't have the personalities either. Like it just didn't. Like the personalities were real dry and I don't know, man. I don't know. But like I said, I only watched it a couple times. Maybe I didn't see a good serving size, but I remember for like a while before it came back, I guess the guy who had the rights to it or bought the rights to it, that young guy or whatever, was just making posts and had like a YouTube channel or whatever. It was kind of felt like nothing was going to happen for a long time. I guess they'd gotten a deal and then didn't have the deal. Sessler was back. I think Kevin Pereira was back. But that was like it. They did that Thanksgiving special thing, that holiday special thing where they had all the old hosts back. But then like Pereira came back for like a cup of coffee and then Sessler was back for like a little time. And I don't know. It just wasn't the same. I watched more than... Well, yeah, I think I watched a stream one night, and I saw they were trying to do like a show. I don't remember what the show was. I just happened to catch it on G4. I mean, not G4. I caught it on Twitch while I was still streaming on Twitch. I tuned in one night after I got done streaming, or something like that. I was watching someone stream. I saw that it was on. I checked it out. I wasn't impressed either time, and I just kind of never went back to it. Guess nobody else did either. Yeah. See, that would be a fun thing to do. I've talked about this before. Like we were talking about Easy Allies the other night, and kind of some of the hardships they're going through right now. I always had this fun idea to do a show, a weekly show with like 4 other personalities, and just kind of let loose and have fun, and just do like a gaming fan show kind of thing, like all those other people do. Like, you know, they're quote unquote journalists in the industry, but they're all fans. You know, it's basically at the end of the day, it's a fan show with some insider stuff. But yeah, man, like the statue, if it were, I mean, I'll be cool with whatever. I think it's my gut tells me, unfortunately, it's going to be one of these first person, you know, shooter in hell Doom ripoff games. You know what I mean? That would be like Ray's fantasy ideas. Like, what would be the best thing? My most treasured dream. It's always the other thing. It's always the blah thing for me. So for me, that monolith statue out in the middle of the desert is cool, and I could reel off 10 things right now that would be awesome if it were. But it's going to be some kind of Doom ripoff first-person shooter game. That game, Part 17. That game, Part 17, Death's Door, Darkest Day, or some bullshit lame name like that some suit in a boardroom came up with. You know, I watched the Sci-Fi Presents show one time called Darkest Day. We should call it that. Doomsday. That's original. Perfect with Final Fantasy TV. Oh, Final Fan TV. Yeah, I think they reached out to me one time about doing a show, and I had something going on, and like on me, I said I was going to do a thing, and then I forgot because my schedule got crazy. And I messaged them afterwards, like, guys, I totally forgot I said I'd do your show, and then, oh, okay, we'll do something again sometime, and then nothing ever came back up. So I didn't mean to do that. It just, I get so busy with stuff, it happens. Yeah, I don't think it's Dante's Inferno. I think Dante's Inferno had its place in gaming history. That time's kind of come and gone. You know, I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know if they would revisit that. Who is that? Is that Activision? I think that's Activision, right? Well, let's find out. I feel like I should know this. I played that game so much. It's EA. Oh, it's EA. Okay, I knew it was one of those big studios. Visceral Games, an EA studio. So yeah, okay. It is an EA game. I don't know. Well, you know what's funny? I've seen a lot of people saying, this seems like an EA stunt. This seems like an EA game. And I've seen some people in the Discord say it too. Like, what if it is? Like, if EA were going to do a thing like that, they're sitting on that IP. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Dead Space fizzled out real bad. Like, and plus it didn't help that Dead Space 3 wasn't great. What were the numbers on that? Let me see. Ooh. It only sold. Wow. Wow, that was 12 years ago. We might as well call it 13 years ago now. February 2013. Damn. That was a long time ago. So, 605,000 copies. That was it for Dead Space 3. Now, I knew they weren't good, but damn, I didn't know they were sub-million. I thought Dead Space 3 sold like 2 million copies or something like that. Internal sales expectations were 5 million units for Dead Space 3. Huh. That's crazy. Interesting. Interesting, though, when you dive into these numbers. Yeah, Visceral Games was EA's, or is EA's horror studio. Or was. I'm not sure if Visceral Games is still around. I haven't seen anything come out from them in a while. Really? Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember the forced co-op stuff. I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you're truth-telling right now. I just don't remember it. I remember nothing about Dead Space 3. I remember the first Dead Space was awesome. I felt like I was playing like some sci-fi nightmare, like Event Horizon or something like that, you know, or Alien. It felt so cool. It was like such a new kind of take on like a tired kind of type of game at the time. But yeah, it just fizzled and fizzled. But I'll tell you, that new Chronos, that game looks dope. And something else I want to see at the Game Awards to kind of shift focus a little bit here. I want to see more Pragmata at the Game Awards because I think that's going to be a sleeper from Capcom. Not a sleeper in the sense that Dead Space Remake sold 2 million units. Well, that's good. That's solid. It's a very niche type of game, but that's solid. I think Pragmata, even though they're putting a lot of marketing stuff behind it, I still feel like that's a niche kind of game. And I want to see it do really well. I hope it does. I'm going to play it, and I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on it. When is that? March? Or there's no release date yet, right? But I think it's people are projecting or saying that it's going to be March. I think I've seen March somewhere for that game. Or could have just been like a fan guess. I don't know. But Pragmata is the one I'm kind of like really looking forward to. I think the whole idea of hacking the enemies and then destroying them, that is so cool. Like dropping their shields, essentially. That is so cool. That is a really cool concept. And hacking the environment around you, you know, that's just a really cool concept. And it has like a lot of BioShock vibes to it. So I'm really excited. I hope we get like a better look at it at the Game Awards. I think we will. Capcom could have a killer presence at the Game Awards. Another old school IP that Capcom could do something with. Ghouls and Ghosts, man. Ghosts and Goblins. Whatever you want to call it. Yeah, NES or SNES. Pick your poison. They got a lot of old arcade classics they could do something with. Let's do the deep dive here real quick. Let's see. Ghosts and Goblins, we know Street Fighter, Mega Man, Final Fight, Devil May Cry. Yeah, we know all these. Let's see. Bionic Commando, I mentioned that one. Strider, I mentioned that. That's the main ones, it seems like. That's the main ones everybody's talking about. See, I think I hit all the big ones. I didn't mention Ghouls and Ghosts earlier, though. But yeah, Ghouls and Ghosts on Super Nintendo was super killer. That's one that I've got in the box That's one that I've always kept. I've always really dug that. I've always had that game. Yeah, Pragmata has heavy Bioshock vibes. But yeah, I'm really stoked to see what all Capcom's kind of got up their sleeve. Because I'm starting to feel like Capcom put that statement out today. It was like, better hang on to your asses. We got some stuff to show you. We got some things to share with you at the Game Awards. What's this going to be, like a 3-hour runtime? Game Awards 2025 runtime. Let's take a look. Three to 4 hours. Pre-show opening act to last around... Well, okay, wait, hang on. Let me see. Okay, that was worded weird. Okay. I thought it was saying a 3 to 4 hour opening act. I was like, nah, we're not watching a 3-hour opening act. The official runtime for the Game Awards 2025 hasn't been set, but based on past years, expect the full show, including the pre-show opening act, to last around 3 to 4 hours, featuring award presentations, world premieres, and trailers. Okay, so I'm going to come on about an hour beforehand because I feel like they could have some cool, like, under-the-radar world premieres on that pre-show that would, quite frankly, excite me. That would excite me. Like, there could be some things on that card that excite me. Huh. I was looking at the website a little bit here. So, sweet. Alright, so, yeah, I'm going to come on about an hour early because if we get my Battle of Olympus remake, I'm going to, like, lose my shit. What if that monolith is for the Battle of Olympus? My Battle of Olympus remake. My Battle of Olympus remake. Let's go. I need it. From Broderbund. Let's go, Battle of Olympus remake. For the win. Yo, for real, I would shit. Like if if they pulled some stuff like that. What would be... Okay, so let me ask you, chat. Anybody in the chat within the sound of my voice right now, what is the one game for you? Any era, any game, I don't care. What is the one game for you that would be, and dig deep here. Take a minute. Dig deep. What is the one for you where you'd be like, that's it. Shut the show down. Like, we're done here. We're done here. What's the remake for you? We're done here. We're done. Let's go. That's it. Show's over. That's your best shot. We're done. Like me in 2015 reacting to the Final Fantasy VII Remake announcement. Like, if any of you ever saw that video, me reacting to that, I was just like, there's a lot, like, I went blank. What would make you react that way if they announced it? Skies of Arcadia. Chris, I've seen you mention that before. I've seen you say that. What's up, Pete? Full Throttle 2. I don't know what Full Throttle 1 is. I apologize. I gotta look it up. I gotta look that up now. Hit me with your best. Because you might be sitting on something that I'm like, oh yeah, that would be dope. Oh wait, I do know what Full Throttle is. That was a PS1 game, right? I do know what that is. Jack and Daxter Darth Magus. Yeah, you mentioned that the other day, I think. Hey, what's up, Demetrius? How we doing, brother? Dragon Age Origins. Okay, little Dragon Age love. All right. Jack and Daxter, Darth Magus. I think I saw you mention the Jack and Daxter the other day. I mean, I think you all know what my number one most treasured, most wanted would be. It would be Chrono Trigger. But my heart would be a different game. Would be a different game. And more in the never gonna happen realm. Because I don't think there's any outcry for this thing. I don't think there's any outcry for this game. I'll just get it and show you that game. I'll get it. I'll show you that game. Where is it? Ah, phew. Oh my god. I thought I lost it. Oh my god, I thought I lost it. So, let's see who knows me. Let's see who knows me. What game am I about to show you all? What game not called Chrono Trigger am I about to show you all? That will be my number one most wanted, most desired remake of a game, period. I want to know what you're thinking.
Okay, great. Where's the place? We'll be right there.
Castlevania, okay. Chrono Cross. Possibility.
5 minutes.
Grandstream Saga. Grantham Saga. Grantham Saga. Never heard of that. Grandstream Saga, Orly. I think that's what you meant, Chris. Grandstream Saga. Xenogears, Demetrius. Hey, it's on the shelf. It's on the shelf back there. I could have grabbed it, but I didn't grab it. Also love a Shadow of Destiny remake. But that game is way too niche, unfortunately. Shadow of Destiny. You know I picked up I finally picked up Shadow of Destiny. I've got it right there. Right there, Shadow of Destiny. I got it featured on the PS2 shelf. I finally got it. One of my favorite games ever. It's gonna be the Grandstream Saga. Oh my god. You talk about a game that influenced a dude. This more than this and Chrono Trigger completely, with the Lord of the Rings, inspired me to write and make ARAURA. Like, it's what inspired my life's work. That, along with some other things throwing their spices into the cake, but you know, that Grandstream Saga is, dude, so kudos to everybody who said Grandstream Saga. That's money. That's right on time, man. If they announced a Grandstream Saga remake, THQ has that game. Who owns, like, if I ever get famous and I open a game studio, I'm going to buy the IP for Grandstream Saga and remake that shit. Let's see. Who has the IP? The IP for the Grandstream Saga, a PlayStation RPG, is held by Sony Computer Entertainment. Now, Sony Interactive Entertainment for its original release in Japan, Europe, while THQ handled the North American publishing rights. However, Sony generally retains the core IP for games they publish, making them the likely owners of the franchise's rights today, despite the original developers, Shade Quintet members. And Shade Quintet are no more. Wait. Google doesn't even know who holds this. Like, Google doesn't even know who owns this right now. Does no one have this IP? I'm gonna have to dig deeper on this. Does no one own this IP right now? Eldorado game. I don't know that game, Demetrius. I don't know that game. I need to look that up. Who owns the rights to the Grand Stream Saga? Grand Stream Denki, as they say in Japan. Grand Stream Denki. Developer Shade, not around anymore. Shade made awesome games. Quintet, they made Terra Enigma and a bunch of other games too. Then they became Shade. But a lot of the people that worked on like Terra Enigma and those games, they actually worked on the Grand Stream Saga. So, let's see. Sonic Entertainment, publisher. Huh. Curiouser and curiouser. Curiouser and curiouser. Well, Grand Stream Saga is actually based on a manga called Cross. And I've never been able to find the manga anywhere. Scans, bootleg books, nothing. Like, it's almost like this thing didn't really exist, but it did. So I've never ever been able to find it. And I've always wanted to just get my hands on a copy of the book just to have it here, even if it's in Japanese. Like read scanlations or something like that, but have a copy. I think it's only one volume. And they made a game based on that. That's so crazy. But that's part of the lore behind the scenes of the game that makes me love it so much. Because this is kind of indie before indie was indie. Like, that's why I love this game so much. And when you're playing it and you look at the graphics and Production IG did the anime cutscenes for it. I might have to do a retrospective on Grand Stream Saga soon. That might have to happen. I'm about to give you one right now. So I might have to make some content for that. Yes, Orly. Yeah, absolutely. Like, let's do the list. Let's do the list, because I know there's going to be a couple I miss. I want to give it the credit. So, okay, so starting from the jump, one of the best games of the Super Nintendo era, ActRaiser. ActRaiser's a quintet game. Soul Blazer, incredible game. ActRaiser 2, not as good as ActRaiser 1. Definitely more rare, definitely more valuable on the market. But ActRaiser 1, I think, is better than 2. And 2 is kind of a different game. Illusion of Gaia was quintet and published by Enix. Terra Enigma, published by Enix, developed by Quintet. The Grand Stream Saga, published by Sony Computer Entertainment, made by Quintet. Solo Crisis, Code R. I don't know much about those. Planet Laika. I know Planet Laika. Co-developed with Zek. So let's see. Shenmue. Oh, that's wrong. What? Development support. I was like, they didn't develop Shenmue, did they? Okay. And then Magical Hushin, the final game in 2002, published by Koei for the Game Boy Advance. That's how Quintet goes out. Magical Hushin. Magical Hushin. 2001, they did something, I've never heard of this. Simple 1500 series, volume 78, the Zerion. No idea what that is. It's not even a clickable link. Never heard of that. That's crazy. Godzilla Generations Maximum Impact for Sega. But dude, yeah, like so. But up until 97, everything they made was a great game. And then I guess when they kind of became Shade, or they started publishing their own games, they kind of started falling off. So Enix is credited as publisher for ActRaiser, Soul Blazer, ActRaiser 2, Illusion of Gaia, Robotrek, and Terranigma. And then the Grandstream Saga published by Sony Computer Entertainment. Now, interesting enough, Grandstream Saga wasn't published by Enix because it was almost picked up by Squaresoft. And Squaresoft passed on it because it was going to launch too close to Final Fantasy VII for them. And the only problem, I remember reading game review magazines at the time, and they said the only real problem with the Grandstream Saga at the time was that it came out too close to Final Fantasy VII. And that really was the only problem with it. Because if you look at the graphics for the time it was what it was, you know. It didn't have the budget Final Fantasy VII did. But if you look at 1997 JRPGs, it was kind of right there. It was kind of right there. You know what I mean? But yeah, Quintet, back when they were rocking and rolling, again, the golden age of Japanese RPG development. Mid-90s. Golden age. Even a company like Quintet was knocking them out of the park. They weren't publishing their own stuff, but they were developing it. They were the studio behind these games. And like, if you've never played like Illusion of Gaia, Terranigma, any of those games, you should play those games. You should definitely play those games. Soul Blazer is a dope ass game. Like, if you've never played Soul Blazer, you need to be like emulating that tonight. Like, play that shit tonight. Zelda Ocarina of Time needs a remake. Yes, but please don't make it Breath of the Wild. Make it good. Majora's Mask. Yeah, Alundra. Fantastic. I played Alundra about a week ago. Matter of fact. Didn't do it here on the stream. It was like I was taking like a little break, middle of the day in the studio. And I broke out my copy I got over here and played it. But hooked up the PS1. I've got like this little RIP setup right here. I hook my PS1 to my computer. It's kind of pop in games and play them. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it's kind of weird. I need to buy some new cables so that I can hook up my PS1, actually stream from my PS1 and stream old games. That'd be killer. I need to look into getting that done. Star Fox Adventure was a good game. You're absolutely right. Nintendo games, I would take a remake of A Link to the Past. Of course, Chrono Trigger, we mentioned that. We got the ActRaiser remake, which was good. Like, I liked the they called it a remaster. It's more of a remake, though. The ActRaiser remake was good. Back in, like, 2021, I think it was. About 4 or 5 years ago. Brave Fencer Musashi, that's one we've mentioned here on the channel recently, Orly. That's in the list. That's in the Square Enix list. Let's look at, since we're on this little journey together here. Okay, now. The Death Trap, the first Squaresoft game. Dragon Slayer, Nihon Falcom, Thexter, I remember people talking about this old game named Dexter, and it was an NES game. It did get a stateside release. I remember that. Let's see. Cruise Chaser Blasty. You got box art for this thing? I think I remember. I think I kind of remember that. But no, I don't think it ever came out over here. There's a game I'm thinking of with box art that might be there, but it's not. So, Suisho no Dragon, Deep Dungeon Madosenki, 3D Battles of World Runner, Kai, Mystery Quest, Fushi no Monsho, Deep Dungeon, King's Knight Special, Genesis, Aliens, Alien 2. Where are we at? Where are we at? Rad Racer. I remember Rad Racer. Final Fantasy 1, December 18th, 1987. There it is. Final Fantasy 2. Square's Tom Sawyer. That's funny. I think I remember that game. Final Fantasy Legend 3. Romancing Saga. Here we go. Now we're getting into some of the classic bangers here. Alcahest. Okay. Breath of Fire. Developed by Capcom. Published by Square Enix. Let's see. Final Fantasy 6. Live Alive. Japan only. 1994. Front Mission. Chrono Trigger. Trials of Mana. Okay, this is where we get to the point where, like, every little bit they're releasing a banger. Okay, so from December 1993. Oh, well, let's go. Good God. It goes, okay. So from August 6th, here's the run. Here's where Square Enix starts their run, right? Okay, so August 6th, 1993, Secret of Mana. December 10th, 1993, Romancing Saga 2. December 17th, 1993, 7 days later, Alcahest. February 24th, 1994, Breath of Fire. February 27th, 1994, Final Fantasy 1 and 2. I think that was like a combo thing they did. April 2nd, 1994, Final Fantasy 6. September 2nd, 1994, Live Alive. February 24th, 1995, Front Mission. March 11th. 2 weeks fucking later. 3 weeks later. March 11th, 1995, Chrono Trigger. September 30th, 1995, Trials of Mana. October 1995, Secret of Evermore. That was part of that kind of quintet trilogy. November 11th, 1995, Romancing Saga 3. Let's see, then we go February 3rd, 1996, Radical Dreamers. Nusumeni Hoseki. That was the text-based thing that came with Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition. That's why it's called the Radical Dreamers Edition. We never got it over here. February 9th, 1996, Bahamut Lagoon. February 23rd, 1996, Front Mission series, Gun Hazard. Gun Hazard was killer. March 9th, 1996, Super Mario RPG. April 5th, 1996, and I've got a video I'm working on for this one. One of the most slept on games you have never ever heard of. Ever. I can almost guarantee it. Treasure of the Rudras. This game, the way it does its magic system, I've only played like badly translated like fan versions of this game. I would love an officially translated port. I would love that. Like, if they could do something like that, that would be amazing. Now, I'll tell you something. Like, if they ever did Treasure of the Rudras, that would be a day one stream. For sure. So, okay. The May 24th, 1996, Treasure Hunter G, which is a kind of a fun game. Toe Ball number 1, August 2nd, 1996. January 31st, 1997, the game that changed games forever, Final Fantasy VII. March 14th, 1997, Bushido Blade. March 21st, 1997, Final Fantasy IV. I think that was its PS1 release in Japan. April 25th, 1997, Tobal 2. June 20th, 1997, one of the other greatest games ever made, Final Fantasy Tactics. June 11th, 1997, Saga Frontier. September 25th, 1997, Front Mission 2. November 20th, 1997, a very slept-on game, but a very fun game, Einhander. Let's see, then I'll skip a few of these. February 11th, 1998, Xenogears. February 28th, 1998, Bushido Blade 2. March 29th, 1998. It's like every fucking month, man. Parasite Eve. July 26th, 1998, Brave Fencer Musashi. February 11th, 1999, Final Fantasy VIII. March 11th, 1999, Final Fantasy Collection. Final Fantasy VI comes out March 11th, 1999 for a PlayStation release. Saga Frontier 2, April 1st, 1999. July 15th, 1999, Legend of Mana. September 2nd, 1999, Front Mission 3. A lot of people think Front Mission 3 is the best Front Mission game ever made. Final Fantasy Anthology drops on September 30th, 1999. Threads of Fate. And this is when we get to the point where it's like literally every month bangers are coming out left and right. So Threads of Fate, October 14th, 1999. November 2nd, 1999, Chrono Trigger gets a PlayStation release, and 2 weeks later, November 18th, 1999, Chrono Cross is released. 1 month later, December 16th, 1999, Parasite Eve. February 10th, 2000, Vagrant Story. March 30th, 2000, Driving Emotion Type S, which was actually a fun game. July 7th, 2000, Final Fantasy IX. You see where I'm going with this? Like, then The Bouncer, unfortunately, came out in December 23rd, 2000. But Final Fantasy Chronicles gets a release in June 29th, 2001. Final Fantasy X, July 9th, 2001. Romancing Saga, December 20th, 2001. Final Fantasy X International Edition after that. Kingdom Hearts, the first Kingdom Hearts, March 28th, 2002. Like, it was just one thing after another with this company back then. Just one thing after another. That's why I say from like the mid 90s to the early 2000s, it was banger after banger. It almost wore you out, keeping up with the games Square Enix was putting out at the time. It almost wore you out. Banger after banger, man. Yeah. Yeah, they're the Japanese release dates, but I read off only games that got American releases as well, because those American release windows coincided with the distance between releases with the Japanese releases too. So, but I only read off there were a bunch of other games in there, but I only read off the ones that came out in America, unless it was like something like Live Alive, which eventually came out over here, and Treasure of the Rudras, which I wish would come out over here. It was the greatest run in video game history. The only one comparable is Capcom's. Let's look at Capcom's. 90s Capcom. Okay. Let's do the Capcom list here. Oh, it doesn't have it broken down that way. Here we go. Here we go. Let me see. Okay. If The ads will cooperate. I got these crazy pop-up ads over here. You know what I forgot about Capcom? All those 90s Disney games for NES that they did. Dude, they did Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, they did DuckTales, they did Tailspin. I forgot about that shit. I forgot that was Capcom. Are you kidding? We gotta go back further than I thought. Okay. Let's go. Let's start with May 2nd, 1990. Gargoyle's Quest. June 8th, 1990. Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. September 28th, 1990. Mega Man 3. September 1990. Little Nemo the Dream Master was a dope-ass game. Skip that one. Skip that one. Skip a few here. Skip a few there. December 6th, 1991. Mega Man 4. Darkwing Duck, June 1992. Bionic Commando, July 24th, 1992. Mega Man 5, December 4th, 1992. Final Fight, 1992. Breath of Fire, April 3rd, 1993. DuckTales 2, April 23rd, 1993. That was a fun one. I never played Goof Troop. November 5th, 1993. Mega Man 6. Aladdin, November 21st, 1993. That was a good game. Rescue Rangers 2, December 10th, 1993. They had a licensing monolith going on here. Let's see. We'll skip a few of those. Skip that one. Skip that one. Skip that one. Okay, Breath of Fire 2, December 4th, 1994. Mega Man 7 on Super Nintendo. Remember that was on SNES, not NES. March 24th, 1995. Mega Man 2, The Power Fighters. I don't remember that. Arcade. Okay, it's only in the arcade. Okay. Mega Man 8, PS1, December 17th, 1996. I remember it's like, Mega Man 8. That's how... Wait, where's Resident Evil? Oh, wait, it's not... Wait. Where's Resident Evil on here? That's weird. Mega Man Legends, December 18th, 1997. Resident Evil's not listed on here. What the F? Darkstalkers is another... That's another one from Capcom. Darkstalkers. That's one to be thinking about. Demon's Crest. Yeah. Yo, they don't have Resident Evil in here. What? Fandom. You are out. You are out, fandom. Let's see if we can find something better. Oh well. Oh well. You see what I'm saying? Like, Capcom in the 90s to the early 2000s could give Square's run a run for its money. I still think Square had the better run. I do. Yeah, they didn't have Street Fighter in that list. They didn't have Resident Evil in that list. I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? This is not a reliable list. Yeah. So, yeah. And it goes back to what we've been talking about. Like, all of these companies that are going to look at these classic IPs they have and be like, and the older the game, the more you can do whatever you want with it. Like, if they came out and said, look, we're going to forget, like, what was it, PS2 or PS3 Bionic Commando existed? We're going to forget those existed. PS3 Bionic Commando. We're going to do whatever we want to with it. He's still going to have the arm, the grapple arm and everything, but we're going to do whatever we want to with it. That's it. We're going to do whatever we want to with it. So, but I'm going to take a quick break. Besides the Final Fantasy movie, what do I think doomed Square once 2000 hit? Losing focus on making games. Really, they just lost their focus. They wanted to do too many things, and they had too many creators at Square wanting to do too many different things. That's why they got into the business of, producing anime and manga and all that other kind of stuff, and trying to make movies, trying to make small budget kind of things, and then trying to make that big Hollywood movie. And They just lost their focus. They lost the focus on the games, and it was a 1 to 2 year detour that took 15 years to fix. Totally fucking insane, right? But yeah, and they're still trying to fix it. Like, you could say it was a 1 to 2 year detour that has taken 20 years to try and repair. Because there's, we like the direction they're pointing right now, but they still have to prove it. So, yeah, and it, like, their list of bangers just comes to a screeching halt, like in the mid 2000s. Once, because they were developing for all these different things like movies and manga and animation, and still trying to make video games, and they had their creative team spread super thin, and they were trying to do too many things while at the same time trying to get ready to develop for PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3, Square Enix was going to be a big hitter for PlayStation. And they were also developing for Xbox 360. I mean, they were developing for all these new systems that were happening. Square didn't have like a massive presence on Xbox, but they really tried to develop hardcore for PlayStation and for Xbox 360. And that's not oft talked about, but I really feel like that kind of helped doom that company for about 15 to 20 years. And they're, they, in many ways, are still trying to dig themselves out of that hole. Yeah, and people forget, Square Enix helped develop Full Metal Alchemist. Arguably the greatest anime ever made. I mean, I take Full Metal Alchemist over Cowboy Bebop. And people like clutch their pearls when I say that, but I mean, I love Cowboy Bebop. But Full Metal Alchemist is way more fleshed out. And I love fantasy. And Cowboy Bebop is sci-fi noir, which is great. But Full Metal Alchemist is like amazing modern fantasy. And it's killer. And Square Enix did an incredible job developing that. Unfortunately, the games weren't very good. I enjoyed them because I was a fan of the IP. And it was just fun to kind of root around in those games, but they weren't great. Yeah, well, I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back. I am back. A little longer than expected. The pets needed some attention. Let's see. Doesn't the Full Metal Alchemist writer have a new anime also published by Square Enix right now? Hiromu Arakawa? I think, yeah. I think it's still being published. I'm not sure if it's done or not, but The Heroic Legend of Arslan, which is actually really good. It's very different from Full Metal, but it's actually very good. You get heat for liking the Full Metal Alchemist ending better than the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood ending. What say you? There are aspects about both endings I really like. The ending of Full Metal Alchemist I absolutely love, because it's like the other side of the door. You know, I love that whole thing, that our world, where like engineering advanced over alchemy, and it was a different world, and Ed had to use his brilliance to figure that out when he was here, to sort of open a new gate using envy, you know, which was using envy's body or whatever for the gate, or like the Axis powers did that. I thought that was really interesting, and we got an amazing song from it, Lost Heaven by, I think it was Larkin Shield. Lost Heaven. Larkin Shield, really, for me, that band, and Hyde, the performer, the Japanese singer, kind of made their name on Full Metal Alchemist, which I still love their music to this day. I love the soundtrack to the first Full Metal Alchemist, the Brothers theme song. The da, 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 da. I thought the score for Full Metal Alchemist was better than the score for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, the ending of Brotherhood with Father and the homunculi and what those are, and Hohenheim's whole role, I thought the overall story was better in Brotherhood, and I thought the characterizations of everyone were better. I liked Scar a little bit better in Brotherhood. But I didn't like... I understood the story beat with Ed losing his powers. But I didn't like that thing happening. I understood... I loved the meaning behind it. Like when he was like, you know, this thing, my knowledge, you know, I'll give all that up if I can have my brother back. And then God was like, you're the first one to get it. You're the first one to get this thing, you know? It's like he was denouncing his hubris. He was admitting his hubris and asking forgiveness for his hubris so that he could have his brother back. And by sacrificing his powers, he was like denouncing his ego and his hubris, and you know, now he's gonna go through life with no arm and no leg, you know, and prosthetics, and luckily he marries a girl who can build all those things for him, you know. But I think I overall enjoyed the ending to Full Metal Alchemist better, because it lends itself to more stories. I like that. I didn't like that Mustang was blind at the end of Brotherhood. But again, I get that. Like, I get story-wise why she did some of the things, why she made some of the decisions she made in the narrative. And I love that those consequences are there as a storyteller. But I think I wasn't ready for the story to end. And so when it ended, I was like, I want more, you know? So... But they're both great. I mean, they're both great, but I think I like Full Metal Alchemist's ending a little bit better. I don't like the ending villain. Like Dante, I don't like her as the final villain. Like, what makes... If you were going to make the argument that Brotherhood's ending is better, it would be because the ending villain is so much better. like the homunculus and the flask, you know, and the whole tragedy of what happens with Hohenheim and the homunculus's origin story. Like, that whole story is amazing. Like, for me, that might be one of my favorite backstories ever. Like, ever. It's so well thought out. It's so well fleshed out. I thought that was really good. But yeah, you can take aspects of both and say this is better or that's better. But I think they're just both amazing. Like, you take one of the best comics ever made. Like, Full Metal Alchemist is one of the best comic books ever made. Ever. Like, that story, forget it. You can do any interpretation of that almost, and it'd still be good because the story and the characters are that good. So, and the world and the power structure and how things work in that world are just so dynamic and so well done. And I could sit here and gush about Full Metal Alchemist for hours. But yeah, Arakawa, her work, her mind. Go watch The Heroic Tale of Arslan. It's really good. You'll see what I'm talking about with her character work. Like, she's such a good writer. And her attention to detail with narrative and characters and how relationships work and how characters influence the worlds that she builds on a low-key level. Like, it's the low-key things her characters do in the story that have big impact. And I think that's what she does so well. It is just, she is a once-in-a-generation comic book creator. And she's absolutely phenomenal. I'll watch anything or read anything she does. And she's a phenomenal artist, too. So, there's that. Oh, yeah, like the Homunculus and Shadow of Destiny, the whole alchemy underlying story for that is so good. Like, I love in Shadow of Destiny how the Homunculus is like you as the player always know that it's manipulating you. But the character you're playing as almost doesn't pick up on it until the last second, until it's too late. That the one really in control is not the creator, but the creation. And the Shadow of Destiny game is so cool that the story beats are kind of meta in a way, because it's like, again, the story, the underlying message of the story is that when, as a creator, you get so into your thing, your creation you're working on, there comes a point where the creation becomes the boss. The creation has the say over the creator. And no matter what ending you get in Shadow of Destiny, that's kind of the underlying message. Is that you turn a corner as a creator, whether you're an artist, a musician, a songwriter, animator, game developer, comic book artist, director, whatever. You turn a corner on a project where the creation is in charge over the creator. And that is one of the things that really spoke to me about Shadow of Destiny. I love the little hidden meanings in that game. But again, it's another situation where they use alchemy and the madness of the alchemist pursuing the fount of knowledge, you know. And that, as artists, is kind of what we do as musicians and creators and artists and everything else. Poets, playwrights, whatever you want to say, game developers, directors, actors. You're always you're like an alchemist in pursuit of the Philosopher's Stone. You'll never attain it, but it's about the quest. At some point, the thing you're working on or you're trying to create becomes the boss, and you're just hanging on to the reins, hoping not to fall off, moving at 100 miles an hour. That's Shadow of Destiny. The Full Metal Alchemist games are fun. I think I can't remember the names of them. The second one. I mean, I've got them over here. I could go look, but I don't feel like getting up right now. Full Metal Alchemist and the Broken Angel. I think was the second one. It might have been the first one, but I think that's my favorite. But they're all kind of flawed. They're all very direct, you know. But just using alchemy in a game like they use in the show is so fun. Even if it is very like repetitive, you know, it's still fun to do. Yeah, I think Shadow of Destiny has something like, what, 8 endings? And it's not like an action RPG or anything. You're just running around and playing through this story, which is what's so different for me. Like, it was... I remember renting that game and thinking, this is not what I expected it to be. You know, I thought it was going to be something like a Shadow Hearts kind of game or something like that. But no, and the more I played it, the more I was just in love with that game. I was like, oh man, this is exactly... I didn't know this is exactly what I needed, but this is exactly what I needed. Shadow of Destiny remake, Shadow Drop at the Game Awards. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Shadow of Destiny and Grand Stream Saga at the Game Awards. Like, see you in 2027, because my 2026 is set. Full Metal Alchemist, the second game. Well, they both came out on PS2 as well. I mean, it may have came out on the Wii, but it was also on PlayStation 2. You know, I'll never forget, like, some of my favorite memories from that era of Full Metal Alchemist, the first series running on Adult Swim, was getting home late on a Saturday night from a late bartending shift at Applebee's when I was working there. And just, I had a townhouse. I had my own place. It was just my own place. I'd come in, make a little food, have my DVR, you know. I was popping at the time. My place was popping. I had DVR. I had satellite. You know, my spot was the spot. My Xbox 360, my PS3. Come on, man. Had my 5-disc changer surround system. 35-inch big box tube television. Let's go, man. I was popping. Anyway, I get home from my bartending shift. Make a little something to eat. Pour a little something cold to drink. Kick my feet up. Pop the DVR on. Boom. Asian Kung Fu Generation hits. Full Metal Alchemist is starting up. Let's go, baby. It's 12:30 in the morning. I'm good. I just picked up my new Samurai 7 DVDs. I'm ready to pop in Samurai 7 and watch 3 or 4 episodes for $30 on a DVD. After Full Metal Alchemist ends, I'm eating my frozen pizza, having my adult cold beverage, got my feet up after a long day. Hey, man. Hello, 2005. Hello, 2005. Yeah, it doesn't have combat. There's no combat system. You don't level up. You don't do anything. You look for clues. You unlock parts of the story, and you follow a path. And once you get into how the game wants you to play it, like, you can't put it down. Like, I played it the other day. I hadn't played it since I found it. I picked it up. I hadn't played it, and then I hooked up the PS2. I popped it in. I started playing it. And I was like, just as fun as I remember. Just as fun as I remember. Yeah, you're in good company with the Shadow of Destiny stuff. I mean, I love that game. A hidden treasure of a bygone era. Hidden treasure of a bygone era. Oh, well, everyone, I have got some more animation work to do, so I'm going to hop off here for the night. I'm going to hop on over here, get to work. Nice, cozy little almost 3-hour stream, hanging out with you all. hyping up Game Awards week. Y'all know how we do it around here. So subscribe to the channel, throw a like on the stream, let people know, let the evil robots in the algorithm know that you all liked what you saw tonight. I'd appreciate it. Helps the channel grow, all that kind of good stuff. And until next time, tomorrow night, Kaufman night, Tuesday night, we'll be on here live talking more Game Awards, doing some other stuff. Orly, hope to see you back in here tomorrow night. Everybody else too, Zach, Darth Magus, Demetrius, Chris, the usual suspects out here, in here. Shadow Star, I saw you earlier. Pete Vickers, you were hiding. I saw you in here, brother. Everybody else, appreciate y'all being here tonight. Have a great one. As always, keep rocking, and I'll see you all in the next live stream or video. Y'all take it easy.